you see something that's generated, and you see something online, and it's constantly like, is this AI generated or is this legit? Or you hear a new observation from a vendor, you're like, is this legit or what's good? And so being able to look your peer group in the eye, your community in the eye, being able to share and compare experience. And I mean, anytime I think there's a big technological wave, you're all going to kind of look around and see like who's doing what, who are the smart people I know, what are they doing? I heard a terrible story about that. But it does seem to have really amped up. People seem to be recognizing both overtly and kind of in their gut that community is going to be important to getting through this the best way for each organization.
100%. Yeah. And I think that is extended into what I'm seeing in 2026, which is both on, I'll say, the market broadly, and then some of how, like, the conversations that I'm having and that we're having in, I'll say, the space is partnerships and ecosystem. And so you've got the community aspect of how you're sharing ideas and learning from one another. And then on the go-to-market side, partnerships and, collaborative go-to-market is really important right now because, oftentimes there are software solutions that need strategic, services to go along with that to make sure that the AI is set up properly in terms of, let's call it product marketing. Do you know your ICP? Do you have strong positioning? Do you have strong messaging? Those types of things. That context in that software needs to be set up well in order for it to deliver effectiveness to its clients. And those are just some of the types of collaborative, partnership models that I think are really becoming more prevalent in 26. And, of course, none of this is new. As you say, every evolution, I think, points down to the fundamentals in some way, but how you actually activate those fundamentals, of course, is dramatically different.
And I know you've put thought into how folks can be thinking about their path through this AI landscape. I wanted to get your thoughts on that individual side as well.
Certainly. I was privileged enough to be able to address a small group of in an organization that was going through the same change. And what I kind of led was almost a visual meditation guided kind of mindfulness journey that really was intended to both empower the individual as well as just remind everybody to take a breath, right? To truly, first of all, the rate and pace of change is exhausting. And those that are in some of these large organizations where their entire business model is changing, it can be particularly daunting. And so definitely take a breath and understand that, it is the human element, is the things that you bring to your work every day that cannot be replicated by AI. And some of that is some of your, innate talents and gifts. Some of those are, the passions and the things that that you have brought in terms of learned experience over the years, and being able to apply that in a way that is uniquely human. And I was recently at, I think it was Human and Tech Week in San Francisco, maybe a month or so ago, and having this conversation around really, if AI is commoditizing a lot of what companies are delivering, what is the intrinsic value that an organization is providing, or is like intellectual property? And at the end of the day, that is the talent that sits in the building, right? And so we're having this really interesting discussion where does that talent become potentially some level of value on the balance sheet, for instance, in terms of that's what's differentiating. It's not the AI, because that becomes commoditized. So there are some really interesting, discussions and counter discussions around, humanness as well as, AI for efficiency, or how you're applying both of those things. And so it's an interesting kind of mind exercise to think through, for sure.